Hi there, I'm Richard Kirkland. Welcome to my gallery. I wanted to take a few minutes of your time today and to show you this gallery. It's a bit of American history that I think you'll enjoy. And of course, I'm hoping that some of you, but particularly some of you young folks, will enjoy this and maybe get some ideas about your future. When I was a boy, I had 3 goals to do in my life. My first goal was to become a pilot, to fly an airplane. My second goal was to paint pictures, and my third goal was to write books. Well, I got started out, and I want to show you what happened in my first goal, and here it is. This is the airplanes I flew over the years. Beginning with the little Aranca when I was in college, and then I joined the Army Air Corps at the outbreak of World War II and had an opportunity to fly in the military. And that's the Stairman primary trainer. And then we came to the BT-13, which was a secondary trainer. And then came the advanced trainer, the North American T-6. And then when I finished that training, I went to combat training and flew that remarkable airplane that I'm sure you've all heard of, the P-38 Lightning, one of the greatest fighters of all time. I flew that fighter for 103 combat missions. This is the P-47, also a World War II fighter, which I flew. Then comes the P-39, which I flew also. It's a fighter of World War II, although I didn't fly it in combat. I flew it after the war. Then the remarkable B-17 bomber, which I'm sure you've all heard of, that did the bombing over Germany during World War II. Then after the war, I was at a rescue squadron, and I had an opportunity to fly the little reconnaissance airplane. Then came the twin-engine Beechcraft, which was a standard for all military operations. Then came the venerable Goonie Bird, the C-47, which was one of the great transport airplanes of World War II. All squadrons had 1 or 2 of them. Then I had an opportunity to fly this aircraft, which is a amphibian. It was a great airplane. And then also another amphibian I had an opportunity to fly, which was the old OA-10, Catalina. Then came a transport called the 111, which I had opportunity to fly. Then I got into helicopters, and when the Korean War broke out, and I was sent to Korea, and I flew this little helicopter. Now, that's a model which I made. It was called the Sikorsky R-5, and it's the helicopter we used in the Korean War to save soldiers' lives by evacuating them from the battleground, and we also used it to pick up shot down pilots in the Big Alley. Behind that, then, when I left the military, I went to work for the Howard Hughes Helicopter Company, and these are some of the helicopters that I flew for many years after that. So that's a scan of the flying that I did over the many years in both in the military and in civil life. My second goal, you will remember, was to paint pictures. And these are some of the pictures, the paintings that I did. What I did is, when I went into the military and went overseas for combat, I took my easel and my sketch pad with me, and wherever I was, I would paint pictures and do sketches of the airplanes. This one is the fighter of Major Dick Baum, America's leading ace of all time. He was in my squadron, and I painted that painting of his aircraft. And here's the painting I did of some of the top aces of World War II, and that's Dick Baum's airplane, that I painted, with myself and my buddy standing in with the top aces. This is another painting I did on a mission where I tangled with the kamikaze, which was the sacrifice airplanes of World War II when they would dive into the ships. This is a painting I did of a combat scene where I tangled with a Zero, and it was almost my last one. This is 2 sketches I did in World War II. Because I was a flight leader, I could do a sketch. So I sketched escorting B-24 bombers, and I sketched my flight in a combat mission. I may have been the only pilot in World War II who sketched an actual combat mission while flying it. It was very enjoyable. These are paintings I did when I was sent to Korea as a helicopter pilot to pull the wounded soldiers off the battlefield. These are 2 paintings I did on scene. These are North Korean islands which I was stationed in with a helicopter to pull the shot down pilots out of the Yellow Sea. This is the painting I did on a mission that I flew with Charles A. Lindbergh, which was quite an honor for me because he was my hero when I was just a boy. These are dioramas down below here, which I made, which depicted the songs we would sing in the evening after combat missions, because after a mission you were beat and so all you wanted to do was relax, and we made up these songs and sang them. It kind of relieved us a bit. These are pictures of and some paintings that I did in Korea. That picture on top is a painting of the infamous Hawkeye, great guy by the way, doing an actual operation at the 8055 MASH. Below, the next painting down is a painting I did of a combat mission I did at night. One of the rare times I flew at night. So we've now covered the second of my goals, which was to paint pictures, and I did that. So now comes my third goal, which was to write books and stories. So I took the paintings and the experiences I had and turned them into stories. My first book was called Tales of a War Pilot. That was about my early experiences in World War II. Then came Tales of a Helicopter Pilot, which followed in my Korean experiences. Then came War Pilot, which was an overall series of short stories about fighter pilots and war pilots. Then came MASH Angels, which was a book about my experiences in Korea when I was a rescue pilot, helicopter pilot. Then comes the last but not least, Wide Place in the Road, which is my final book, and which is the book that I just finished, recently finished. It's a historic epic that about a period of American history that I lived through, sometimes called the greatest generation. And it is a story in a way of my life, growing up in a small community during the Great Depression and then going off to World War II. It's basically a love story that winds its way through that period of time in America called the greatest generation. And I'm very proud of it. One of the reviewers commented that Wide Place in the Road may be one of the greatest love stories ever written. I'm pleased to say that. So, you've seen my 3 goals and how they put together, and it's something that you too can do. And the whole object here tonight today was for me to show you this and show you my goals and how I did it, and to encourage you to do the same. If you have a goal that you want to do, you can do it in the great United States of America. Thank you.